Hi, David. How are you doing today?
Good morning, my friend. Doing really well.
Thank you. I want to say thank you for doing this video with me. I know you're one of the few leaders out there always going live on doing Facebook Live and always sharing information that helps us agents. And right now, a lot of us need help. I need help. I'm reaching out for your help, and I'm reaching out for you to share information, whatever it is, to help our fellow agents out there who are either struggling or searching for answers. And thank you for doing this, buddy.
Thank you.
Hi, David. How are you doing today?
Good morning, my friend. Doing really well.
Thank you. I want to say thank you for doing this video with me. I know you're one of the few leaders out there always going live on doing Facebook Live and always sharing information that helps us agents. And right now, a lot of us need help. I need help. I'm reaching out for your help, and I'm reaching out for you to share information, whatever it is, to help our fellow agents out there who are either struggling or searching for answers. And thank you for doing this, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I found out a couple of years ago that one of my callings was to serve and to help and to lead, and also being open to being led by others, and having this opportunity to just maybe help one person out there, and at the same time help myself. I appreciate you giving me this chance.
Awesome. And you're doing a great job to serve and as being a leader in our community. So thank you for all your service at the board and what you're doing for now with all the agents right now.
Thanks, buddy.
How are you holding up right now with this quarantine? How are you and your family?
We're doing really well. I mean, there was an adjustment period for about 2 weeks where we were kind of getting used to this new world, and every day felt like a new thing to kind of navigate.
Yeah.
And you know, I had kind of this continual conversation with myself and with my agents. I said that time is over now. We had our 2 weeks to freak out. We had our 2 weeks to adjust, and now it's time to course correct and recalibrate. And you know, I don't want to say just get to work, because it's not just work. It's taking this situation and making the best out of it.
Awesome. You know, I continue on making an adjustment every day, and I'm sure you are, because you know I'm not used to doing my office work from home. So I spent most of my time at home. I'm still out there servicing and work at the same time. The challenge makes us grow. I noticed, you know, I've never done Facebook Live, you know that, and right now I'm doing a lot of lives because I pretty feel like we don't have a choice. We have to be right there in front of our clients. And at the same time, I feel that it is a great time to help and to give service and be valuable to everybody out there.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, there, when things like this happen, it exposes ourselves, not to everybody else, but not just to everyone else, but also to ourselves. And it pushes us. And depending upon where our mindset is, it could be a tremendous gift, or it could be something that's really bad. I mean, you're saying I'm getting out there with Facebook Live. I have a lot of colleagues that didn't feel comfortable being on the screen, and I've been pushing them for 2 years, get on the screen. And now they have no choice. So they're getting pushed out of their comfort zone, which is a great thing. There is no growth without pain.
Oh, I truly believe that and agree with you. Let's talk about the real estate market right now. Right now, I don't see a lot of changes yet because we still have escrows, pendings from previous week, previous month before the lockdown. What do you think, what's going to happen in the next 3 to 6 months or even 12 months?
So I'm looking at everything financially in 3, 6, and 9 month increments, right? So second quarter, then second and third quarter, and then the whole entire year. Right now, I'm seeing the same thing as you. We still have, I think we closed like 60 transactions in the last week of March. Now, given March was setting up to be the best month in Las Vegas real estate history before this happened. So you're right, we have a lot of transactions still closing. But what surprised me the most is the amount of buyers and sellers that cannot wait. Their life cannot go on hold just because of the coronavirus. They still have to move. They still have to get equity. There's so many reasons that they still have to continue. So April is gonna, it's still, as far as not depreciation, I'm talking about the amount of transactions that are gonna occur. I thought we were gonna see like a 70% decrease. And now I'm seeing maybe like a 30% decrease as far as transactions. Now, as far as price goes, I'm definitely encouraging my agents to tell their sellers not to price aggressively, but definitely not at the top of the comps in the market. You know, you don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. So put it at a very, I don't want to say too enticing, but an enticing spot. Don't wait to get that extra money. Just put it where it needs to go. So we haven't seen the bottom fall out like we did in the stock market. And I think that's a testament to the true nature of there is a tremendous need for housing. So that's the next 3 months. The next 6 months, Shane, I would need a crystal ball to tell you. If we get out of this by June, I could see a ramping up in the summer. And then who knows what happens when flu season comes back in the winter. So I would say we're going to see, look at that beautiful boy. Maybe a V. People are talking in letters, right? So maybe we go down and up. Then some people are saying it's an L, where we go down and we level off. And then maybe it's a W, where we go down, up in the summer, down again in the winter, and then up. It's all going to depend on how this unknown thing plays out.
You know, in any market, challenging or normal market, slow market, good market, marketing helps a lot. Do you agree?
Without a doubt.
Yes. Now, what marketing advice can you give to us agents to help us to still produce in this market?
You know, I believe what I'm about to tell you applies to a normal market and the market we're in. But even more so now, there needs to be a level of fiduciary care and empathy at an even higher level. You know, marketing doesn't have to stop, but the manner of how you market needs to be very clear. I call it marketing versus manipulation. I was seeing some an objection handling form being tossed around in some real estate sites, and I thought it lacked class because it was like trying to manipulate people into selling no matter what, even if they have fears. I think you need to take care of your clients, and I believe this all the time, like there's someone you care about. When I tell my agents what precautions they should take during this time, I treat it like it's my wife out there. The same advice I give Angie in order how to show a house, how to do a walkthrough, that's the same advice I'm giving to my agents. Same thing with sellers and buyers. If my best friend wanted to sell their house right now, I want to make sure that conversation I'm having with my best friend is the same conversation I'm having with the client, where I want to protect them both physically and financially. So I think you're seeing big companies, they're not marketing the same way. They're marketing how they're there to help rather than just trying to get a sale. So there's a distinction.
I see. Do you have a blueprint that you created for your agents how to work in this market? Anything like that?
We do. So we created a couple of different things. We created first a company-wide, just not even a marketing piece, just an example of that we're here and we're united for Las Vegas and for the nation. That's just a marketing piece showing people that we're essential and we're here. Then we have a marketing piece of what it looks like from a buyer side, how you can make it through a transaction with the least amount of contact possible and the most safety and care. Same thing with the sell side. It's kind of what to expect in this new world. And then hopefully the client can take a look at that and say, all right, this works for me. I'm still uncertain about this. Let me talk to my agent and see how we navigate. But like in any transaction, you know, we're like first responders. Like we're supposed to take care of a potential issue before it happens and talk about what can happen, what to expect, how do you want to handle this? You know, a lot of people are saying like, what are you going to do when people walk into your house? Are you going to stay in your house? Or are you going to walk outside your house? Do you feel comfortable with people in your house touching everything? Or do you want to open all the drawers and all? So I believe it's good to have these conversations on the front end rather than the back
Good, good. Do you have like any tool suggestion to work in this challenging market?
I mean, we've been going over this. Number one, you cannot hide. Trust erodes when you do not have communication, is when you're hiding. So you must stay in front of your people, whether it's your friends and your family, whether it's your agents, whether it's your clients, and not even just business-wise. Right. People need to hear from you, number one. And then I have other things, like I wrote down something I really like just steps on what to do. You know, for instance, you got to operate in reality and not in anxiety. And that's something we're all dealing with. You know, control what you can control, and you got to submit to the rest. You really have to have a schedule more than ever now. We live in a world that everything is at our fingertips, that we don't have to be as regimented as we did in the past. Well, now the morning routine, and you're set up for your kids that are staying home, having rooms designated for different areas, some for play, some for work, some for, you know, how you navigate through that. You must have a self-care regimen in that. And step 3, you got to look at the bright side. You got to be willing to adapt and innovate and thrive. Me and you had a great conversation about this yesterday, where you were like, everyone is in the same exact position. And I took that a step further, and I did a Facebook Live about it, where we're all dealt the same hand at the poker table. We literally dealt the same hand. Exactly. And our outcomes on this is how we play that hand. There's no excuses anymore. So I love that. And then the last one, which you're doing an amazing job of, because I watch everything, is service. Service is so important. So those are my 4 main ones.
We did talk about, there's a very famous saying, I believe it's probably came from Warren Buffett. He said something like, if you take everybody's money away, everybody on earth, nobody has any money. In 5 years, it goes, the same amount of money goes back to the same people again.
And, you know, they say, I used to resent the comment, the rich get richer, poor get poorer. I used to resent that comment. But then I started realizing that if you have an abundant mindset, I believe in the law of attraction, and you will attract that to you. So I agree with your statement, and I've heard it before. I've heard it from Tony Robbins. You know, who knows where it originated from, but I do believe that. I mean, you could look at a table and say, who's going to lead? Who's going to step up?
Do you have like 3 months plan, 6 months plans, or 12 months plan going on right now? And can you show us how you do the plans?
Yeah. So immediately when this happened, I went into, okay, let's assess what's going on. Now let's predict and let's plan and then let's execute. So from a broker standpoint, I said, all right, what is the revenue going to look like? How am I going to treat my staff? How am I going to pay my rents? What cash do I have on hand? And I did a whole financial kind of audit on where I'm at. What I projected, how much revenue we would get in March and April, where it's going to go. Worst case scenario, best case scenario. So 3 months for us, I don't even lose sleep over. We're a very conservative company, and we're taking that into account. Now, we only have 9 employees, but we're like a family. So I've decided not to cut anybody or their paychecks. I want to protect them. A lot of companies, they don't have that luxury that I have. But we made that decision that we're going to pay everything up front and worry about 6 months and 9 months down the line because so much is changing. So as an agent or as a broker, you're going to have to be willing to adapt quickly and innovate quickly, because I could plan all I want for 6 months, but I don't know how the stimulus package is going to affect me. I don't know how all this is going to play out. It's changed every single day. It's so frustrating. I think I have it all figured out, and then the government changes something, right? So, if I'm an agent, I'm staying in business. That's my number one goal. I mean, physical and family is first. Health, absolutely, you got to be there for your family. And then second, your family is important. You got to put food on the table. But you gotta make sure you pay your dues and you stay active in the MLS and you keep your license. We already had an agent say, I'm out, and give up his license. And no sooner did he do that, he emails my father and I back, and he's like, I have 2 listings that are coming up. I got to run back in. And I said, come on back. But he gave up too quick. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so I think that the 3 months is make it through and assume that it's going to be done in 3 months. Make sure that you separate your personal from your business, and say, all right, I could survive this much on my personal, these many months, and this much on my business. But stay in business. That's integral. And then I got the end of the world 9-month rest of the year scenario. What do I do? And that's a completely different plan.
If a buyer calls me or a seller calls me and asks me, is this the time to buy or is this the time to sell? What would you say to that buyer, that seller?
So it's a great question, and one that we've been talking about inside of our private page at Urban Nest. And the reality is this: we cannot treat buyers and sellers or any of them as the same. They're all unique situations. I would say, what is your motivation to sell or buy right now? And then I would, if it's something like we have friends that are moving to Virginia, and the husband already moved. He's in a house in Virginia, and they need to sell because he started the job. So I'm like, absolutely, we need to sell your house. Let's sell it now while we still have some certainty. Let's price it at or below comps, and let's get moving. Same thing with buyers if they have to buy. If you don't have to sell or buy, then you have to have the conversation of, what do you think the market's going to look like? In 3 months, it could look really good because I think we'll get up quickly. If it's not taken care of in 3 months, then it's going to be bad. I give them every single option and potential scenario, inform them with good information, and then let them make the decision.
I know that you read a lot and you know many quotes. What 2 quotes that stands out right now that you think that can help all of us right now in this moment?
One is a Warren Buffett, and he says, when people are greedy, be cautious. And when people are cautious, be greedy. Before this was all happening, I decided to not double down on my business and start opening 10 offices. I decided not to start buying 1 million houses. I felt like the market was already at the height. I was going to go in the other direction and wait for a rainy day. So I was all in cash. Now everyone's shrinking and hiding and freaking out. So I believe there will be a time to jump back in the stock market, to jump back into the housing market. And if agents or brokers are closing shop or giving up their license or giving up, this will be time, not necessarily put your foot all the way down on the gas. I'm not saying to double down. This is survival mode, but definitely keep your foot on the gas and not give up. I mean, I'm not the biggest online lead proponent. Like, I'm not huge into them. I'm more into relationship-based business. But if the online leads become a really good deal with a great return on investment, this is the time to go in the direction of that. Go in the opposite direction. So, be very choosy and very picky, but this is the time to go towards the fear and have faith rather than shrink and retract. So that's one of the main quotes. And I'll give you the other one unless you want to say something about that.
I agree completely. Always go the opposite. And that's how these investors and these people are doing every years in, years out. And you always want to learn from the best. And Warren Buffett, when he tells you something, listen, right? How about the second quote?
So the second quote was one that I came up on my own with there's this illusion of control that I believe we all have that got shattered very quickly a couple of weeks ago. And I started thinking about, I've had this conversation with my mentors and coaches of controlling what I can control and submitting and surrendering to the things I cannot control. But I took it a step further. I was like, the only thing that we can control is the way we react to the things we cannot control. So we're really judged and exposed on the things outside of our control. Because at the end of the day, Shane, you really only control yourself, and that's your thoughts and your actions.
Exactly.
And it's hard for me sometimes. I try to control a lot of outcomes, but that's when you try to control the uncontrollable, that's when fear, anxiety, uncertainty, all of those things that don't serve us, they come into play. So every time when I'm not centered, I have to say to myself, wait a minute, just like what we talked about with, all being in the same situation. I can only control showing up in faith and strength and power in even the worst situations. Everything else, I got to let go.
Exactly. I agree so much with that. It is natural for us to feel sad, worry, and cry. It's okay. I was scared when it did happen, but you can't do that day in and day out and weeks in and weeks out. You got to stop somewhere and you got to move forward because, like you said earlier, nobody is unique in this situation. We're all being affected. This city, this state, this country, many countries, everybody. But you can't just sit there and worry. You got to go out there and look for answers. And then there are so many ways and there's so many opportunities to be out there. So that's why I'm so aggressively doing videos, doing live to be out there, but not only to benefit myself, but I just want to make sure that I bring benefits and information, things that are valuable to other people as well.
I couldn't agree more. When you were saying that, I just kept thinking that leadership is contagious. That's what needs to be contagious, is that leadership. And if we can get certainty in leadership from each other, then it can be redistributed over and over and over again. It's almost like the buckets. If I fill your bucket, it'll overflow and then it'll start filling mine. And it becomes this, we all start filling each other's buckets and we can divide the pain and multiply the power and multiply the certainty and really connect to that feeling of that common bond that we're all in this together. I mean, you put it so beautifully of never in your lifetime have you seen a scenario where the entire world is dealing with this. No one can hide from this. So you stepping up and leading is going to inspire another person to step up and lead. And as they lead, they're going to be able to be filled up, and they'll spend more time on how can I help, serve, and lead rather than freak out, shrink, and hide. So it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. I want to ask you one last question, and that is, who inspires you? Who's your mentor? Who inspires you? And what did you learn from that person? And then what you learned from that person, can you share with us to inspire others?
You know, it's a daily thing with me. I made sure that I'm surrounded by great people. I'm in a CEO group it's called Vistage, around other CEOs, and the way they act inspire me. I'm in a Warrior Men's group with a great man, Gary White, that runs that. He inspires me. I have a great group of friends that are industry leaders, and they inspire me. And, you know, my wife, her like quiet determination and strength and certainty while she's pregnant is inspired. So I find that inspiration everywhere. But definitely by far, my father's my inspiration. You know, the decisions that I'm making, as, you know, even though we're partners, I take care of all of the operations and all the financial decisions, and, you know, doing the right thing during this time, keeping your employees, not paying myself or him, you know, making sure that I'm there every single day for my agents, not just on how to like navigate through this financially and for business, but also how to navigate through this mentally and with their families.
Right.
That doing the right thing and caring, and not just on like an inauthentic way, but in a true, real way, that has all come from my father. And even if at the end of the day, even if my staff one day doesn't appreciate it, or my agents, which I'm sure they will, I'll know when I look in the mirror that I did the right thing. And that quality I got 100% from my father as my mentor.
The second question to that is, would what you learn inspire? What message can you send to that agent or anybody out there that could be inspired today?
I think everyone's watching how you'll react, your friends, your family, your clients. So you must lead with your heart and not with your wallet. You know, they're going to remember that you were there for them and that you cared. They're going to remember the way you marketed, the way you helped, you know, and they're going to remember that you didn't shrink and quit, that you stood up and led, and you were there for them. So even when you're down in the dumps or you're feeling uncertain and you're having those moments of vulnerability, which are so okay to have, into them and feeling, get out. But don't let the mighty dollar get in the way of you being a human being. I think that's so important.
Awesome message. You know, this is an awesome time to develop your skills. This is an awesome time to be right in front of our clients, because now, never before, where people are in quarantine for the next additional 29 days, 28 days, you have an opportunity to show who you are. So I'm encouraging you, all the agents, everybody out there, be known, be seen, do something, don't hide. This is the time. You know, when you are lacking skills, what I mean is videos and doing lives and all that, you do it by repetition. Meaning the more you do, the more you get better at it. And I remember my very first video was done with Dave Tina. And I remember I was so nervous. The acid was building in my stomach and it was hurting like somebody was tearing. It was just so painful, but that's just being nervous. And I continued on doing that video, and Dave didn't know that. And I remember even thinking how silly I sound or how weird I sound. And also I was like red. He didn't know. I was red and sweating. And we did, I believe that if I'm not mistaken, we did that video for 13 minutes. And I said, oh my God, this is too long. Nobody's going to watch this. Remember that?
I remember. And I said they'll watch. I said they'll watch, right? Now I think we
I
got
know.
to like
Now we do all the way to 60 minutes and they still watch the whole thing. The longest videos I did was with Ivan Share. We did that for 60 minutes and so many people watched the whole thing, which was incredible. But like I want, the whole purpose of me sharing this with you is that most of us downgrade our skills, downgrade our attitude, downgrade our, you know, what do you call that? Knowledge.
self-worth. Yep.
And you cannot believe that you can do so much more if you give yourself a chance. And just try it. Just try and give yourself a chance. You can do so much more than you think you can't.
I always say you need to overcommit and then rise up to your commitment. You know, I was not ready to be a husband or a father or a business owner or a president of an association. I made these commitments first, and then I became my commitments. But you've got to be willing to dive into the deep end of the pool and commit. And then in that deep end, you will build character and growth and strength. So I'm with you, buddy. And you've come a long way. But you committed, and you were like laser focused. So I'm honored to be part of it.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for this awesome video chat today. And so many people will take this and ride with this. And like you said earlier, you know, if it doesn't matter if 1 or 2, 10 people get something out of this, but I hope those 10 will share with the rest and get, and we help others. I'm out here just to let you know that I am still putting 100% effort, and Dave is still putting 100% effort out there. So we're not stopping. So don't you guys stop. Continue on going. Have a good one. Do you have any final message you want to share, buddy, before we end it?
Just one thing you were saying about showing up and reaching out to your people. You know, I always say quality over quantity. It's our motto for the Nest. But even now, you know, if you're thinking about sending a blast of an email or just a text blast, no, go further. They want to see your face. Get closer. Call them. Let them hear your voice. Make it, you don't have to do it as much, but when you do it, make it count. You know, seeing Shane's face it makes such a difference. I mean, we talked yesterday, which was nice. It's the text, the talk is better than the text. The face-to-face is better than the talk. Get closer. Not too close, stay 6 feet, but get closer to your people and take care of them. Connect as deeply as you can right now. That's my final take, buddy.
Great advice, buddy. Great advice. It's been a pleasure talking to you today. Enjoy your day and the rest of the week. And thank you again.
Thanks, brother.
Take care, brother.
Take care.